God, is that a rat? Lisa? There's something behind your books.
Behind my book.
Your J.D. Robb books. Is it Sheldon or is it something else? It's Sheldon. I thought it was a fucking rat. I threw out my shoe. I guess I should not put that in the outtakes. Hi readers, it's Lori. Welcome back to my channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. I just had a weird occurrence and I'm not sure if I'm going to keep that in or not. I had already been recording and I don't know, we'll see. There's some bad language in it and it was very scary. So today I have my pumpkin spice chai tea in one of my favorite mugs, and it is 84 degrees out right now and the high is supposed to be 92, I think. So much for fall weather here, but I'm going to make it feel like fall in any way that I can, and so this is what I've done today. So today is another episode of To Read or Not to Read, where I choose a few books that I haven't even looked at or thought about reading for a while, in order to determine if I should keep them and read them or purge them from my shelf. So it's a bit of a year-long purge for me, and I've done better in some months than in others, so we'll see how I do today. So let's get started. Okay, one of the first ones is a book called Possession by A.S.Byatt. I think I got this at the book sale, and I have not looked at it since. So this is interesting. It was rated one of the best books of the year by the New York Times Book Review, and this came out in 1991. This is a vintage international edition, but it was published in 1990, it looks like. It's an older book for sure. It was a winner of England's Booker Prize and the literary sensation of the year. And it says it's a novel of wit, romance, intellectual mystery, triumphant love story, a pair of young scholars researching the lives of two Victorian poets, uncovering their letters, journals, poems, and tracking their movements from London to Yorkshire, spiritual seances, fairy-haunted far west of Brittany. That's probably why I got it. It sounded like a good read for me. So it's also pretty chunky. So that's one that I need to consider what I'm going to do with. The next one is a surprise to me, but I've thought about this a lot and I need to decide. We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter. I have gotten about halfway, well, not quite halfway through this, and it is just not working for me, and it surprises me because it was one of my booksellers' top picks at Square Books in Oxford, Mississippi, which is why I got it. It had great buzz when it came out, which is when I got it. It is historical World War II fiction, and I just cannot seem to get through it, and I'm not the only one, I will say. So I need to decide, am I going to get back to this and read it, or am I going to unhaul it? It follows a family called the Kirks from Poland who are Jewish and are separated when the Nazis take over Poland, and they all kind of go different ways. And so it's each of their stories and what happens to each of them. And there are a lot of them, as I recall. Of course, some of them are married and, that sort of thing. But, yeah, that's the premise of it. And, again, some people really seem to love it. There are some people, though, that aren't fans either. So I would say, at best, it has mixed reviews. This one is also kind of a surprise to me, The Sugar Queen by Sarah Addison Allen. I do enjoy a Sarah Addison Allen novel. I've read several of hers, and I think I have another one on my Kindle to read as well. But I started this one some time ago and I couldn't really get into it. So it's about a woman named Josie, and she finds a neighbor or a local waitress in her closet, and I guess a relationship ensues. They become friends, and I don't know. I tried it. I started it. I wasn't feeling it, and that's a surprise to me. So I don't know if I want to. I haven't ever felt compelled to pick it back up again since then. This is another one I got at the library book sale. It's Jodi Picoult's House Rules. I've only read one Jodi Picoult, and I did like it a lot. I think I gave it 5 stars. I read Small Great Things. This one I have not picked it up, and it's about a teenager, Jacob, with Asperger's, and he listens to the crime radio. You know how you can hear the police calls and fire calls and those sorts of things. He listens to that a lot, and he likes forensic analysis, and because he has Asperger's, he's very diligent about that, and I'm sure very clever. And there's then a murder in his town, and the law enforcement thinks that he's involved. Sometimes he looks guilty, very guilty. It's a small family, small town, and then did Jacob really commit this murder? It's interesting because I just not too long ago read Defending Jacob, which is also a murder mystery about a boy named Jacob who was accused of a murder in their community. So that's similar. It's chunky too. Her books generally are. It's a possibility that I will get to this, but I want to really think about it carefully and make sure that I plan to read it at some point. Last one I'm considering keeping or not keeping is a David Baldacci, The Target. I've never read David Baldacci. I actually realized when I pulled this that I got it as a blind date with a book from my library one February, probably more than a year ago. And it was picked up by me because it said it was fast-paced, thrilling, and enthralling. I did not get to it. I picked up a lot of blind dates that year, as I recall, and didn't finish this one. So this is a Will Roby novel, and it is about it's a political thriller, it looks like. And there's a high-risk assignment. It sort of reminds me of, the plot of it kind of reminds me of what was it called that Bill Clinton wrote with James Patterson, and it was something about the president. I read that too. It kind of reminds me of that a little bit. And what's interesting to me about David Baldacci, and I knew nothing about him, is that he's the co-founder with his wife of the Wish You Well Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting literacy efforts across America. That's nice. I didn't have that knowledge before this. He is a prolific writer, I would say. Okay, now I have to decide. Jodi Picoult gets really great reviews. This font is odd. Actually, there's more than one font, so I'm assuming this is told it is in different perspectives with different fonts. Lots of characters in here. I feel like it might be a fast read. The one I did read of hers, while it was really big, it was fast. So there was that. Let me see what Goodreads has to say about it. Let's see if any of my friends have read it. That's always a good clue to something. So 4.02 stars. Lindsay from Lindsay Little Library gave it 5 stars. My friend Marianne gave it 4. My friend Jennifer gave it 1. She got mad about it. My friend Lisa gave it 3. And Carol gave it 2. Said it was too wordy. Several people said it was a little bit longer than it needed to be. So I wouldn't mind starting it and seeing if it draws me in. I don't know that I'll get to it anytime soon, but I might. If it was like a fall kind of, if it was set in fall, I would really be intrigued about starting it right away. But I'm not sure. I think I'm going to keep this one and give it a try. I know. I know, but I think I am going to keep this one. It's the only Jodi Picoult I own, and so I don't know that I'll keep it. It's not in the best shape. It's still got the library sticker on it that you can't get off the paperbacks easily. Yeah, I think I'm going to give it a try, but if I don't take a look at it within another 4 to 5 months, I'll probably unhaul it. The Sugar Queen, 3.98 on Goodreads. It actually has a much prettier cover on the Goodreads thumbnail than the one that I have. Let's see if my friends have read it. One of my friends gave it 3 stars. Lindsay gave it. Another Lindsay gave it 4 stars. It was pretty good, she said. I loved Garden Spells. I loved Lost Lake. And I think I can access this somewhere else if I want to read it. So I think I'm going to unhaul this just because I didn't love the way it began. Also, I think somebody chewed the edge of it for me. That was very, very thoughtful of you guys. Thanks. I think I didn't really like the characters to begin with, so there was that. We were the lucky ones. I really am sad about this, and I have no desire to pick this back up. I've thought about it month after month after month. I look at it all the time, and I just don't have it within me, and that makes me sad. And yet, some books just aren't for everybody, and this one is not for me. And I think I am going to be okay with unhauling this. I really do. Looking at, I was at about 150 pages in, and that's a pretty good indicator of whether I want to finish. So I'm going to take the bookmark out and unhaul this one. And I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about this. I wish I knew somebody that really wanted to read it so I could know that it's going to go to, but maybe just putting it in the Little Free Library would be enough. I mean, I think I found one the other day that I'm not going to tell you about yet because I'm going to haul it for September, but it was like perfect. It was just waiting there for me. So perhaps that will happen for this too. Okay, Possession, 3.88 stars. It has on Goodreads. It is a Booker Prize. I'm looking at it. It has very small print. It is over 550 pages. It's in the style of classic literature for sure. Very Victorian language, which I don't mind. It just is usually harder to get through sometimes. I'm gonna unhaul it. I'm just not feeling it. I really don't see myself reading this. It isn't like the first piece of it is a poem, which is usually nice. It does talk about a book first, which is usually a good start, but then it just goes a little too much for me. It's just, I think, a little too wordy, and I don't think it'll pull me in at all. So I'm gonna unhaul that. Wow, I've unhauled 3 already. 1 more to go. Let's see. The Target. You know, I picked it up all those couple of years ago. I see it frequently too, and I do feel drawn to read it, which is interesting now that I think about it. When I see it, I don't start it, but I do feel drawn to read it. Now that I know that it's about a presidential kind of issue, and that this guy, Will Roby, is a government assassin, that's interesting. I wonder if you have to read the first Will Roby before you read this one, but I don't know, and I don't know what that would be. Let me see if I can find out. So this is the third in the Will Roby or Robbie series, and it is 4.08 stars on Goodreads. My friend Lisa rated it 3 stars, but honestly, my friend Lisa doesn't rate a lot of books. I've never seen her rate anything 5 stars. So it's either a 3 or a 4 typically. Miriam gave it 5. Diana gave it 5. Lori gave it 4. Another friend gave it 4. I'm going to keep the David Baldacci. I think that's a book I would enjoy and I would probably finish. And it's a pretty good sized book, but again, it's a thriller, so they usually go pretty fast. So I'm going to keep these two. Yay. I'm feeling good about that choice. I'm going to unhaul The Possession, We Were the Lucky Ones, and The Sugar Queen. It's just not right for me right now. And again, any of these probably I could access on, I know this one's available at my library because I did try to read it on ebook for a while too to see if that would speed it up for me, and it didn't really. I'm sure I can access this one too, and I'm certain I can find this somewhere. So if I have a second thought about this, I can find them on another platform. So thanks for joining me today and watching me finally unhaul some books from my To Read or Not to Read September edition. It's always good to unhaul a few, and it's always just good for me to get clear about what I want to hold on to and for what reason I want to hold on to them. So I appreciate this exercise in decision making every month. So let me know if you've read any of these, what you would have kept or unhauled if it were you. And as always, happy reading. Bye.